And welcome back, everyone, to Star Wars: When a Rock in a Hard Place, where we have find our adventurous trio, having just arrived back at the casino, the Waya, orbiting the planet of Ord Mantell. All about this station, we see Imperial fighters, patrol craft, and off in the distance, a trio of those dagger-shaped Star Destroyers hovering ominously above everything. The as we pull back from Ord Mantell and further out in the system, where we see our trio in their starship having to travel from their jump point at the edge of the system because of imperial dominant or authorities and such, being forced to actually jump out further than they normally would have. We focus into the communal living area of the ship, where we see the three people sitting around the one table. So I will allow you guys to introduce yourselves in whichever order you would wish, and as you guys are discussing your future.
If no one wants to go first, Heish will. Heish is a to check here just quick. He's a 26-year-old Miraluka. He's got his hair back in kind of a somewhat messy queue that kind of ends in a bit of a singed end because he's lost about a foot of it from a blaster bolt. He wears a now clean, kind of like an outdoorsy kind of a gardener's shirt with many pockets in front. Not really the apron type outfit, but something that would be easy to move in outdoors working with the soil. He sits kind of a little bit anxiously. He kind of fidgets in his chair ever so slightly as he's kind of digging through some of the loot, the data crystals that he and his companions had found in the ruins of the Alderaanian Jedi temple, and he takes out one such data crystal and he slides it into the port of like the main holo display. He kind of shoots a look over to Glalt as he's doing this, and kind of mutters, "This might be a little sensitive, but tell us what you make of this, Glalt." And he'll bring up a file that I will let His Imperial Majesty describe for us.
And just to make sure, this is the one for Glalt, right?
Yes, what we previously talked about.
So this, as this crystal slotted into the reader at the center of the table, you see a hologram pop up, and you see faces begin to slide by, giving names. As they get further and further, Glalt starts to recognize some of the names his master had spoken, until it comes to your master's master, and an image of your master, and then an image of you, not as you are now, but that image takes you back to a day at the temple on Coruscant, shortly after shortly after your master had taken you as his Padawan, and you were taken into the archives, and your image was scanned, and you were probably very bubbly. So tell us what Glalt is feeling at the moment at this image. Audio, you're muted.
Glalt is feeling both happy and slightly remorseful due to the recent occurrences on the planet. When you look at him, you'll notice that he's slightly bloodied. It's clear he hasn't quite taken a shower yet. His pale gray fur has a few spots of red. His blue eyes are slightly misty with tears, and he's about 7 foot tall, clearly different than his image of a lot younger him. He's about 30 now. He's got long tusks, and he's now wearing that that uh that robe that he had been carrying around. And as he looks at the image, he turns back to Haish and says, That's that's a younger me. And I have reason to believe my master is still out there. I saw him on a forest planet.
Well, that's good news.
Mhm. Okay.
Which tropical, arboreal,
I don't know. It was just a quick
temperate?
flash.
I looks over at Tindrick. Oh, that doesn't narrow it down for us at all.
Speaking of which, as you look over at Tendrick, you're seeing this interplay between the two of these in this image. What do we see of Tendrick's mind, and how does he look as he sits there at the moment with this discussion? What's he thinking about?
Oh, Tindrick. God, what is Tindrick thinking about? What isn't he thinking about? At the moment, they've all kind of had a period of revelation, so to speak. So his mind's kind of going back and forth between a couple of things. Part of his mind's actually thinking about that communication crystal they took. Part of his mind's actually on that box of lightsaber parts that he's kind of itching to put together. Another part of him even still is actually messing around with the blaster rifle that Galalt gifted him after their last fight. So he's kind of paying attention to that. When it comes to Haish and Galalt, though, and they're going back and forth on this, when he hears that it's got Galalt's master's master, he kind of raises one eyebrow and he remembers Galalt saying, "We need to go down on the forest planet. When can we go down on the forest planet?" And his brain starting to connect the pieces now. So in the back of his mind, once again with everything else, he's kind of thinking, all right, what can we do to narrow down this search? Because there's probably millions of systems with the forest planet in it. It's going to take for bloody ever. But at the moment, he's paying attention to them, but he's also just kind of inner thinking on what he wants to take care of next. I mean, part of him's still also thinking about the droids in the back that he needs to fix up. The fight they just had, which honestly was one of the few times in his life probably that he actually had to almost take a life. And one of the very few times he's seen Haish go completely balls to the wall on someone. So his brain is kind of like, oh shit, this got real quick. And then of course, Galalt kind of going protector mode, and then kind of, he didn't know it at the time, but seeing Galalt kind of go dark is kind of like, all right, so where are the lines in the sand happening now? Because everything's shifting.
So as you think about Galalt going dark, you get a bit of that chill, just a bit. It's almost as if, when you think of a very, very, very cold winter morning and you having to step outside and then very quickly step back in. You're not cold when you're in, but you still have that chill, almost as if it's stuck to you just a little bit. So
it's on the bones.
Yeah, but then it passes. So and the conversation commences.
Well, I suppose our best course of action, if we are going to be looking for our instructors, my first suggestion is look at a star map and see what details in said premonition jump out at you, and narrow the search down with the star map of what feels right, what feels good, what strange gravity can be pulled or felt. I don't know how you feel about that, Glalt. But I'll be taking some time doing exactly that. You're also muted, Lynx. I know.
I think above all, though, it will take some time, but we need to find your master first. Mine has
appreciate
been
that,
waiting
but
longer. He can wait a few more years.
Well, I'll cock an eyebrow. Are you certain?
Yes.
All right. I don't. I'll kind of shoot it's kind of a sheepish kind of uneasy look to Tindrick. I as much as that is kind, I also don't believe that keeping Mistress Jade waiting any longer than she already has been is healthy for any of us.
I think we should go get your mother first, though.
Oh, that's a given. Where I'll just kind of like apprehensively look out one of the windows. Do I see that planet, I suppose, coming in to our view slowly? Is that right?
You definitely see as you're moving actually at a fairly brisk pace through this system. You do see Ord Mantell getting larger in the viewport. The sparkling dance of lights around it that you know is the traffic and the space stations as larger twinkles. But your eyes keep getting drawn to those three dagger shapes that seem to be in a polar orbit, almost as if they're sitting atop everything. They're also getting larger, and just looking at those gives you a dread. There's something there bad.
May I try to sense what's on them?
You most definitely may, or maybe a sense roll.
All right.
Haish will kind of shiver at that.
All right.
And what are you trying to sense? Sense force, sense life? What are you
I'm sensing force.
Okay.
Trying to see if there's anything we need to fear. Basically, are we going to go in slow and steady, or do we need to go in and GTFO? Basically, run in hot. Do sixes explode?
The 1/6 for your wild die does.
Okay. 6, 12, 18, 20.
All right. With that roll, you reach out in the force, looking for any kind of, any kind of force powers out there. You do get glimmers here and there. There's many billions of people on this station, and on the planet as well, and around the planet in different ships and such. You get little flickers here and there of those who may have a bit more luck than an average person, those who might know just a bit more, and then you get this feeling of overwhelming rage and loneliness and loss. Glalt, I need you to make me a perception roll to see if you can even maintain consciousness at this point, because this is very much an overwhelming presence. What did you roll? 6. All right, Glalt, you see his eyes as he sort of closed his eyes a little bit as he was reaching out. Suddenly his eyes go very, very, very broad. To the where that, even though before you've never actually seen the white of his eyes because the coloration of his eyes goes so wide, you see this rim of white around the eyes, and his pupils go to pinpricks, and he just falls on the floor. So, Glalt, as you fall to the floor, you see in your mind a little boy, not much older than like maybe that you were, before you became a Padawan. Little toe-headed kid. He's got sort of that sandy blonde hair, and he's standing on some planet that looks like it's going through a major geological shift because there's a river of lava behind him, and he's looking up this hill to this tower of a man above him, a man that you don't remember. He's vaguely familiar, but his face is almost demonic. And this boy is screaming up at him, accusing him of betraying him. And the figure just laughs. And his big foot comes down and kicks the kid square in the chest and knocks him to the ground, and then lops his arms and his legs off and leaves him as he's laying there crying because of this betrayal he felt. Back in the land of the conscious, what does Haitian Tendrick do when Glalt falls over like that?
Haitian will kind of just watch this hairy monolith just boom hit the floor because he's not getting up from his seat to try and catch him. Haish might get hurt. When a bull falls in the field, he stays right there. But Haish will get up and kind of like try and like roll him over, move him into what would be more comfortable, like out of the way. And a grim grim smirk paints itself across Haish's face, and says, "Look, a fur rug," and he just excuse me, my apologies. Brother, that temple has had a foul feeling and mood upon me. I'm sorry, Glalt. And he pats his shoulder. Sleep well, friend. Just here. And he'll kind of just like stand up a little awkwardly and like, oh, maybe that's a little uncomfortable. You move him again a little bit.
I think you're muted there, Tendrick.
No, actually, I wasn't talking yet.
Sorry, I saw Liz moving. I thought you were talking off it.
No, it was more like Gallant goes down. Tendrick kind of stops what he's doing, looks over, he sees Haish try to move him. Here's Haish's comment, and it's just the whole.
He's just, oh, my brother's being a jackass again. That's fine.
This is what I have to put up with.
Yeah.
All the time. No. Does Gallant look okay?
Maybe a first aid check or a technical skill check.
Don't be stealing narrative. I knew what I was going to do.
So.
No, actually, yeah, that's the thing. He's going to look over him. If Gallant's not moving, when he seems completely fine, then yes, he is going to call for the medical droid to come up and do a cursory check.
Okay. So the medical droid comes in, looks at at Gallant on the floor. Its vocoder is a bit wonky, so it has a very flat voice, and it looks down at this. Is this my patient?
Yes, this is your patient.
Okay. It pulls out it extends out a bioscanner and runs up and down Gallant, and it says all respiratory function, cardiac function, brain function, all well within normals for this species. The species is currently experiencing what would be the official term would be a bad dream.
Oh, he'll be fine. We have those all the time, don't we?
Should I wake it?
No, let him sleep.
Okay. I will monitor. If there is a change in its condition, I will alert you.
Excellent. If he starts kicking and foaming at the mouth, then absolutely tell us.
That would be a change in its condition. When I scans, it is a male.
Oh, good.
Approximately 30 standard years of age.
Mm.
It starts just listing off stats. It starts telling you what his white blood cell count currently is.
Could you tell that thing to leave now? He's fine.
It starts reading off its blood oxygen level.
That's enough.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
After a minute or two, you start to come back to consciousness. And you get the feeling that as you're coming back to consciousness, you're pulling yourself out of the dream. You see this boy look at you, and these blue eyes go from a blue to a deep, deep, fiery, hate-filled red. And then as it fades away, all you see are the eyes. And then you hear a deep voice in your mind say, "There." You wake up with that voice echoing in your ears.
Walt is gonna wake up, kind of staggered to his sitting position, and look around for his friends, find them and say,
is still standing over you.
"We're fucked."
Well, what had you done now?
Sandy-haired boy got kicked into a fire pit, arms and legs cut off, turned towards me with hate-filled eyes, and he found us.
See how you are, Glow? You can't help yourself, can you?
All three of you make me a sense roll real quick.
For fuck's sake, of course we've got sense. That is a fat 6,
8.
Your Majesty.
11.
Okay. You all feel this prickling on the back of your neck as if someone's standing right behind you. Of course, you're all looking at each other so you can know that there's no one right behind you. And it is there for just a moment. And then you all feel it's almost like it's a very deep emotional dismissal. Almost as if a child were digging through a toy box looking for a particular toy, thought it had grabbed the right one, pulled it out, and it wasn't the one there it wanted, and it threw it away.
Haish is gonna mutter, probably in his sense force, Miraluka, smoke and mirrors here, in a phrase that's, "What did you lose?" He just blurts it out, and something, whatever the hell, may or may not be listening, but that does slip out of him.
You get the distinct sensation of in your mind of something walking away, ignoring you, as if it's as if its presence just moved away.
Haish will instinctively look in that direction.
You looking right at the Star Destroyers.
I walk up to that window, and then I actually go to the cockpit. I'll actually go down and sit down in my chair, and I'll look at the Star Destroyers, and he will say, "I'm so sorry."
So, On the reader, as you read the names of these 3 Star Destroyers on your display, the central one is the executor. That's what it's called.
No.
The other 2 is the indomitable, and the other one is the indomitable and the infallible. The other 2. Yes, those are the escort ships. So it's pretty much, if you see anything on the holos about anything the past 20 years, you know that ship is the ship that normally conveys Darth Vader, the great war hero, but also the scary one. Okay.
Hey, she'll come back from the cockpit and say, all right, we were put on a job to recover some things. We need to go over what we're going to hand over and what we're going to be keeping, because I believe his gaze will settle on both of you. I believe we've all uncovered something of value to all 3 of us, and we need to probably hand over the rest or make duplicates very quickly because home is right there. What are we thinking? What are we doing?
I say we
Just
go in
taking his
hot.
shit
We
out
go
of
in
his
fast.
satchel? What is your plan here?
We go in, grab your mom, and leave. We don't stop.
But we had a job to do. We're going to get paid for it.
Screw the pay.
Well, that's your boss.
Bigger priorities.
If you want to throw him under a Star Destroyer sized shuttle, then fine. Then
No, I don't.
talk to me then. What are we doing? What are we
I don't-
thinking?
I don't know. I don't know a plan that can save all of us.
I look at Tindrick. We're at least getting Mom, and she's coming with.
Mm-hmm. Let me make copies. I can redact what I need to, encrypt the rest. We stash everything in the hiding spots, and we just hope we don't get caught.
And we'll make things up as we go when we get caught. Should we get caught? If we get caught.
I'll hide the one for me and Skywalker. I'll swallow them. No one's going to find those, no matter how far they search the ship.
All right. I turn all of my loot, my personal loot, over to Tindrick. His Imperial Majesty needs to tell us how many hours and or minutes that we have for him to duplicate everything. Your Majesty? You're muted, Your Majesty?
Yeah. You could probably, most of the stuff you can probably get copied over fairly quickly. It'll be difficult really at all to copy that into the ship's data banks. It's just a matter of plugging it in, hitting a button, and it takes just a few seconds to copy the data.
Okay.
So he just reads it, puts it into your database.
Haish will dismiss himself to the cockpit, and he will send Leith down to Tindrick to help him with whatever else he needs. Many hands make light work, and Haish will leave the scene until anyone needs him.
Gloat will turn to Tindrick real quick. Tindrick, when you're done copying those lineage crystals, I'll take them again. Keep them the
Yep.
safest we know how.
Will do. I'll give you a call.
It's gonna suck.
Once Tindrick has a job, he's not worrying about anything else. He's got a job to do.
It's a pretty simple process. Not to make any rolls. Your technical's high enough where you can actually just basically make these copies, without even blinking. It's the equivalent right now of like plugging thumb drive into a computer and copying the data onto your hard drive. It's that simple. A 40-year-old can do it. As you're doing that, though, you guys are getting closer and closer to the way up, and you get into the lanes. And the ships you see around you are a bit different from what you used to see. You were last time you were here, a lot of these ships were older. Some of them you're pretty sure probably didn't have proper registration even. It was a little more chaotic. You are at this point seeing the equivalent of a super highway where everyone is driving the speed limit. No one is passing on the right. And it's, everyone is following the laws as best they possibly can at this point. You see groups of 4 TIE fighters. There's several of these out there flying around at sort of along the edges. There are a number of other patrol craft and such, gunboats and whatnot. And every once in a while, you see sets of 4 TIE interceptors zip by. You do see one ship apparently get a set of 4 TIE fighters dives on it. You're not sure, you can't hear the interplay and such. The ship breaks out of the space lane and starts to run toward the planet. These 4 TIE fighters just open up. There are ships scrambling to get out of the way. They seem to don't care if something gets in their way. In fact, you see a couple of hits on other ships that weren't even involved initially happen, scoring their holes. The interceptors shoot past all of that, dive on this ship, and just pelt it with blaster bolts until its reactor is overloaded and it explodes. The reason for it is unknown, but everyone gets back into place and seems to follow this proper opera. You are contacted by Imperial Flight Control, who welcomes you to Ord Mantell. Your flight path has been transmitted to you, and you actually get a path laid out for you through these spaceways that will lead you in about an hour time to the Wea, which is listed as your final destination. And you're told, do not deviate from this path. So failure to comply with the Imperial law will result in your destruction. Thank you. The thank you is almost like a insult, it seems like.
We're just gonna do what we're told and fly casual.
Okay. So you guys fly casual. So it takes you some time to get there, but eventually you pull up into your berth there at the Wea. As you land, you notice that before there were lots of pleasure yachts and stuff like that in the bays around you. Most of those aren't there. You see 2 Imperial shuttles to one side. There are a couple of yachts, but these yachts are more, they're newer, as if they've been bought within the past standard year probably. And those yachts have armed guards in Imperial uniforms around them. There's also, of course, our Imperial soldiers around the Imperial shuttles as well.
But no stormtroopers proper.
No stormtrooper proper. Not okay. At this point, you don't see any. You are as you land, you see one of the figures coming out from the control area where you would disembark from the bay. It's the fellow you originally was introduced to as Gil Terran, and who is Gil Terran, dressed in the livery of the Wea, not carrying a blaster. He's carrying a stun baton. And as they're approaching, he actually is very visibly checking out this stun baton very, very visibly.
I see that from the cockpit, right? He's out
Yes.
in the hangar.
Yes.
I'm gonna go over the intercom specifically to Glault's room, assuming that Glault's in his room.
Yeah.
Hey, Glault, does
Yes.
your boss is he known to hold a stun baton in the proper fashion?
You've never seen your boss carry anything but a blaster.
No, he's not.
Well, he's fidgeting with it like it's a toy out there, and I just wanted you specifically to know. I'll open the intercom to the back bay. Brother dear, stun baton, a cat thing that doesn't know how to use it properly. Very awkward with it. Oh God, he's picking his nose with it. Oh, and I'll just kill the feed. What an idiot! You'll just hear echo down the hallway.
If you would please, all three of you with that information, make me a knowledge skill check. Just a general knowledge skill
Hell
check.
yes, I will.
Oh.
God's too much being a jackass with a 7. I doesn't care.
18.
All right. Well, with that 18, that's definitely enough for you to know. If he's doing that, that's probably him signaling that maybe blasters aren't allowed on the station and you might get in trouble if you come off your ship with one.
Glault's gonna poke the intercom. No blasters.
Is that what that means? Oh God, he's stuck it in his ear.
He is desperately trying to signal no blasters. This is
don't stick it down there and then
wow. He is. We need to work on coding with him. Apparently,
I just put
Okay.
my 2 blasters basically on the dash behind the computer, and I'll leave them there.
As the two approach, they stop just beyond where your ramp would descend, and you see. Well, you see the main thing that you notice is an absence. You would expect your mother to have joined them, possibly,
Yeah, we're
because it was well known that you're coming there.
right. The landing bay is down. I'm walking down the landing bay at this point.
I'm
I'm
following.
Gil.
assuming I finally noticed this.
Gil, the human Gil, nods to you and says, "Captain Talor,
Morning.
Tender, Plot, welcome back to the Waya. I assume that your mission went well and without any hiccups."
We'll talk about that later. But where is Lady Yane? I'll say that a little bit accusatorially.
He gets a look on his face, and you see the actual Gil look at you, and he's doing this thing. He stops when he sees that, and he does this just for a moment as if he's scratching his nose. But it's very much a this. He said, "Excuse me, sir." The human does.
My apologies. I'm hungry. I need food. Let's go. I'm talking crazy.
Yes, come with me. We can definitely retreat to one of the facilities inside for eating.
I'm gonna shoot a look at my companions, and out from under that hood, you hey, ape shit. It's just there and it's gone. I'll just march inside.
Okay.
I'm almost stepping on this poor human. My strides are that long.
As you're walking along, you notice, of course, these Imperial guards at the Imperial soldiers at the other ships are just sort of They're watching you go. They're definitely looking at Glault. You're definitely catching some glances because you're probably the biggest thing there.
Glault's gonna turn to Haish.
Mm.
Is Whippet 219 off duty?
Yes, you can take your break.
Thank you, sir. Glault is gonna just start meandering, just in a very slow fashion. Just
Ah.
You're
Don't
gonna
hurt
leave the
anyone that
hangar?
doesn't deserve it.
He's going to keep following this group, but he's gonna just play up the "I'm a slow, stupid whippet,"
Okay.
while enhancing his senses to listen for every conversation going on.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and roll that sense roll in for me, Glault.
As he's leaving, I'm just gonna put in here a moment. Glault, when you're done, you know where our apartments are. We'll meet you there.
Yes, sir.
Come on, brother.
13.
Okay. You're hearing chatter back and forth between the soldiers. One of them says, "Look at that! What the hell is that?" I don't think it's a Wookiee. If it is, it's deformed. One of them says, "I think it's a whippet." Whippet? What the hell's a whippet? That. And one of the you hear something that sounds like a little bit of maybe an older fellow, and you're hearing this in the speakers of like their comms. Elder fellows say, "Don't underestimate that thing. Those things can be more lethal than a Wookiee. Wookiees don't use their claws. Those things will." At that, you see the intention, the sort of the attention of you of sort of curiosity, go from that as if all of a sudden the professional soldier kicks on and looks at you as a potential threat. And you definitely get that feeling from them as they watch you.
Glault's gonna follow those two, but he's just gonna kind of pick his nose and look at his claw and wipe it on his fur and keep walking.
Okay. As you guys pass through the doors from the hangar into the hallways, it closes behind you. Gil turns to you and says, "Just a moment, gentlemen. We take a side trip. Unfortunately, I have to take care of some business real quick. You're definitely welcome to come with me."
All right, then.
He leads you up to a doorway and pulls out an identity card, puts it in the slot. The door slides open. He walks in and says, "Come this way, this way, this way." And
I'll steal a look behind me to make sure we're not followed.
Yeah, what you're seeing in the hallway is you see people walking back and forth. You see a lot of Imperial officers being chatted up by young ladies, in some cases, young men chatting up the female officers and whatnot. Men dressed in in just regular soldiers' uniforms, enlisted and such, occasionally gathering in corners and such, and in the little niches that serve as sort of bars along this level. As you go into the service area, and the door slides behind you, you hear a buzz. Tendrick knows what this buzz is. He's actually heard it. It's basically a dampening field kicking on. And the real Gil turns to you and says, "Thank you, thank the forces that you guys realized that I didn't want you to bring any guns on this station. They would have, especially with Glault here, they would probably take it down immediately."
Yeah, don't put that down there. Don't.
Well,
Not
I was
even-
trying to make sure you knew what I meant.
That was absurd.
First off, your mother is safe,
Oh, she better be.
but her face is drawing too much attention for her liking. So she chose to stay up in the private apartments while we came down to get you.
Take us to her now.
Immediately, we'll go to the service areas.
Thank you.
So, and Glault, don't touch you with that hand.
Good to see you too. And he looks to his boss and pats him on the back with that hand.
He shudders. He turns to follow me, and I hope you guys got some interesting stuff. So
You'll see.
okay. He leads you back through like the service corridors around maintenance droids and stuff like that. Up up to a utility lift, which takes you up all the way up to his offices. As you come out of it, you see your mother there, and she turns to see you, and her eyes light up, and she's happy to see her boys. She comes and gives both of you big warm hugs, and says, "I'm glad to see you're okay, boys.
Good to see you too."
I'm sorry I couldn't come visit you down there, but I get a little tense around Imperial soldiers."
What did we miss?
Well, there's been an interesting development.
Oh,
And you see Gil sort of looks, yeah, very interesting.
we're talking as I'm walking over to a
Yeah.
table to take
Yeah.
out the loot, I suppose.
Okay. As you're putting the loot on the table there, he reaches over and manipulates a couple of controls, and a hollow of some of the local news feeds pops up. And one of them is one that you've seen it before. It's basically one about local criminals. Apparently, there is it's some vid of Vader on the surface of Ord Mantell with his entourage of stormtroopers, basically cruising through a crowd like a proud ship across the ocean. People parting before him, not getting within, about 3 or 4 meters of him at best. And the feed basically goes along the lines of Lord Vader continues his search for the rebel cells here on Ord Mantell. It is believed that some of those who perpetrated the attack on the recent attack by the Rebel Alliance upon the mining station that killed over 30,000 civilians. And as he says this, you see this running line of names lists going up, and it says, the Empire is still very raw at the loss of all of these promising young lives. And you start seeing images flipping up of people, smiling families. And as they do, you see a family, like a father and a mother and 3 children, and they're all hugging together, and the father's face grays out. And the next image is 3 brothers, and 2 of the brothers' faces gray out. It says these losses are felt all across the Empire, and these terrorists will be brought to heel and pay the final price, as the Imperial courts have already found them guilty. If you see these individuals, and a series of about 6 images pop up. One of them is you've seen Leia Organa before. She has a 10,000 credit bounty on her. There's some blonde-haired kid that's maybe 18 years old. The image is sort of grainy, as if maybe it was taken from a security camera. His is also 10,000. There's a mugshot of some Corellian guy. His is 15,000. There's a Wookiee, 8,000. Of course, Galt probably thinks at that point, yeah, of course the Wookiee's worth less. And a couple of others. There's an older gentleman the name Kraken is or actually Colonel Kraken is listed at the bottom. He's listed as an Imperial deserter. He is one of for 24,000. So if you see any of these individuals, report to your nearest Imperial officer to receive your bounty if your tip proves to lead to an apprehension. And then it goes to some news about racing. And it says, so, Yul turns to you guys. So, as you see, that guy's here. So he's been all over this place, and that's what made your mother uncomfortable.
He looks like fun. Galt is extremely sarcastic about that comment. He is standing by the door, and you notice his head is slightly tilted.
Yane shakes her head and says he is by no means fun. And she looks at the 2 of you, and she sort of catches her breath moment. He's what I've been hiding you from all this time.
Well, Gil, you have your loot. Give us our money so we can move on.
Let's see what we have real quick, just to make sure. And he goes and takes the stuff and looks at it, picks up a couple of the crystals, and looks at him through his, through the light. These are very interesting. Were you guys going to put the communications crystal in there with him for it? Okay. He reaches down and picks up that and says, "Ooh, what's this?" He holds it up and says, "Can't be." He goes over and he hands it to a droid and says, "Analyze." The droid looks at it. You see a scanner pop open and it runs up down a little bit, and it says it's a Mark 24 communications crystal, blah, blah, and just starts listing off specifications for it. He nods. He says, "Very nice. That'll be a centerpiece." He turns back. "Okay. Do you want it in hard credits or do you want it in electronic? I'll pay you 80,000 for the lot."
Can we use a knowledge check to know that if it's lowballing us?
That would be an appraisal, which appraisal goes under bargain, which is perception.
I have
skill.
bargain.
So yes, roll a bargain check if you have a bargain. So yeah, you guys can definitely make that roll.
Okay, so that's
20.
20. Go ahead.
Hayes just looks to Yene for approval on a price.
Okay, she sort of looks and sort of tilts her head, and as if maybe she's thinking, "What did you get there, Tindrick?"
I got a 20.
We got
Okay.
the same freaking roll.
Okay. You both
Beautiful.
know that 80,000, though a generous offer, is still probably about 20% lower than you could probably get for these things in open market.
I'm gonna look at my boss and just shake my head.
He looks back at you and says, "Really? Well, what would you consider a fair price?"
Add 15%.
He shakes,
Hendrik
he
actually
shakes his
won't say
head.
anything simply because he knows they have backups. He can always start another one later on. So he doesn't say anything.
He shakes his head. 95?
I mean, you did say you
I'll
wanted
tell you-
that crystal as your centerpiece. So, I mean, that's probably worth a little bit more.
that is true. I tell you what, I'll do this. He goes over and he goes into his room, that is his display room. You guys can follow him if you want to. He doesn't doesn't wave you off.
I'm gonna
Those-
let Glalt take this one, take point on this one.
I'll walk in
goes-
and follow him.
He goes over to the wall and types in a code, and a section pops out, revealing a drawer. And he reaches inside. He picks up a case, and it looks battered, like it's been through hell. Possibly popped out of an airlock, banged around a few asteroids, been picked up as scrap. Someone's tried to repair it, given up, and then threw it out again. The process repeating itself at least 3 times. He brings it out and he says, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you 90 and this." He sits down the table.
Deal.
What is it first?
Well, it's some odds and ends that I've collected that don't quite fit in my collection, but he reaches down and hits the latch and opens it up, and the thing is full of junk.
Junk.
Tindrick,
I guess you want me to do an
Specifically.
appraise?
this is where you do an appraise of this, yes. So, as in your technical knowledge.
Or you want me to do technical knowledge on this one?
Well, appraise is fine, actually. That would be perfect for it.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a 4D either way. So
Either way, yeah, it's an appraise. You appraise it for us, sir.
$34.
With that roll, you can pick out pieces of at least a dozen lightsabers.
Yeah, Galalt, we're taking that deal.
Yes, sir.
You also see within these lightsabers at least 2 crystal matrices that look intact, which means the crystals inside of them are probably intact.
We'll take the spare droid parts, thank you. Glalt has a 1 technical knowledge. He rolled a 1.
Well, just we'll take the box. Thank you.
Okay. So 90
So-
plus the box.
Though speaking of droid parts, you know where I can get a hold of a combat core?
I could throw a combat core, Mark III combat core in with that, but he'll have to drop my offer down a bit. 75 plus the combat core plus this.
Can I appraise and know if a combat core is worth 15K or not?
Yes.
Or do I know he's kind of just BSing me right there?
15K is kind of steep, but at the same time, you're probably not going to find a combat core in this system and not have it so scrutinized by the Empire that, you know, basically you'd be running a risk of being thrown in prison for the rest of your natural life.
So we're paying for his discretion.
Effectively, yeah.
25 on a bargain, and I'll say 80 the core and the box.
Let's see. You said you rolled a 25.
Uh-huh.
Okay. He looks at it, looks at you, looks at the stuff on the table, looks back and says, deal.
And I'll reach my hand out so he can shake it.
Okay. He shakes it. He then pulls out his data pad and holds it out and starts punching a few things in. And he says, authorization Terran, places his hand on it and says, where would you like it sent? You want a direct transfer?
Look back to Haish on that electronic.
Well, I can do a direct transfer to your pad if you like, or I can have it. It'll take at least a day to get the actual physical credits up here.
Time is of the essence. Yeah, we'll take electronic.
Okay. He holds the pad out for you. Basically, all you have to do is just tap your pads to it, and they'll do the transfer.
Google Touch Pay.
Haysh'll just let Tindrick
Basically.
take over the money part. He's
Yeah.
he's the banker.
Right. Tindrick will separate it out when they get back to the ship. He knows that.
Okay. And so you get it, and the money transferred over, and he reaches over, closes the case up, and holds it out to Glalt. So here you go. So where are you off to next? Or what's your? I have some ideas for you if you looking for further employment.
I am retired.
And we have our own path before us. Thank you.
Okay.
Should we wish to do business with you again, sir, we will contact you, not the other way around.
Sir,
Yes.
they allowed me a vacation on an ocean planet.
That'll be interesting for you. I've smelled you wet.
We will
But-
not be attending this vacation with him.
I would suggest it's especially not if you're downwind.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, it's been a pleasure doing business with you, Glalt. It's been a pleasure for you to stay around here as long as you did. You've done a wonderful job.
It has been fun knowing you too, sir. Hopefully we don't have to know each other again. I don't want to be marooned.
I wouldn't suggest leaving immediately because landing and then taking off so quickly from a casino may look suspicious. Why don't you? I'll tell you what. He looks at one of the droids and waves over and says, 10,000 each. And the droid comes out and basically walks over to you, and out of its torso, it pops out these chits that he says, here, go have fun in the casino on me.
Thank you, boss.
We need
Call it a
food
bonus.
and drink anyway, so
That's good for that too.
I'm gonna take 2,000 and give 4,000 to my companions. Haish does not gamble. He'd very much like to have a cup of tea and meditate with his mother. That is his only wish right now, currently.
All right. Well, you can go down into the down to the casino and just have fun. You'll blend in right with the rest of the crowd, I'm sure. And then when a reasonable amount of time has passed, and when you head out, there won't be as much suspicion. So Hayes is going to go down and sit with his mom. His mom is actually going to. She is going to sit over at one of the bars. So that the two of you can sit there and sort of see the casino for what it is below you. It's on a bit of a it's almost like a balcony overlooking the main gambling floor, but it's recessed back. So it's recessed back.
Oh, okay. So we can actually see Galalt and Tindrick go game.
Yeah, you can see them down there doing the thing. Okay. But the lighting up here is dimmer than down below. So those below, if they look up, all they'll see is just a dark balcony. There's some light. There's a singer up there who's doing like a little small act. That's a bit of a jazz type deal going on. It's in Boston actually, which is actually pretty in that style. And you're served drinks from the drinks from the bartender. No, she's not playing Ord Mantell.
Oh, you're no fun.
Not yet. And your mother sits down and she sighs and she says, "It's good to have you boys back. And as well as you saw coming in, I think we need to leave the system as soon as possible."
Tell me you're coming with us.
I intend to.
Good.
So I don't want to stay here. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I will be honest with you, Mother dear. You would not have had a choice in the matter. He would be coming with anyway.
No, I'm not planning. I don't want to be left here for that. That's definitely for sure.
But I have something of interest. And he'll kind of like flip his satchel up. He won't take it out. He'll just have it like in the opening. He'll reach down in. He'll have the holocron in his palm. And it'll be just kind of.
Her eyes get wide and says, "Keep that hidden."
Oh, I know.
I mean, don't even like flash it like that. I mean, and she looks around and says,
"We're alone.
We don't know if you're watching." Kind of, but she points across the way and says, "You see that little blinking light up there in the shadows over there?"
Mm-hmm.
You look over. You do see a little, very faint, blinking orange light. And she said, "That's the Imperial spy droid."
Interesting.
When she looks around, and she actually uses her eyes as to sort of follow around to these things, and you see more of them. So they're everywhere. That's why I say be careful what you flash.
Well, then there are more sensitive things that we should probably talk about on the ship away from here.
Yes. So for the moment, let's exchange pleasantries, and it is just a mother and her son having drinks at a casino while her other son spends all the family inheritance. And she sort of smiles.
Not all of it. That he fakes it and just
Okay. And as she looks down, she sees Tindrick, and the camera moves to him. So what kind of gambling is Tindrick doing?
Oh, well, what was available on his home planet, like where they were before?
There's chance machines that are basically slot machines that were at pretty much at the main depot that you guys would go to occasionally. It was like 2 or 3 of them, and everybody played Sabak. Think of it like everybody plays poker. But literally it is like sort of a universal game that everybody knows how to play. So, and there are several Sabak tables going on.
Yeah. Tindrick, he actually would take a while to finally sit at a table, because what he does is he'll actually go up to a table. He sees how the dealer acts, and he sees how the table acts. Because if he sees outburst, he doesn't sit. Everyone's kind of got to remain cool during the games.
Okay. Make me a perception or gambling if you have it. Check.
I do have gambling, thank you.
Okay.
Of course you do.
Of course I do.
Yep.
24.
All right. You find a table, and there are three figures sitting there. There's a human. He's dressed in basic utility clothing, nothing fancy. Probably a pilot or a technician of some kind. There's a Twi'lek sitting there that is dressed in the traditional robes of Twi'leks when they're off world. And then there's a Transdoshan sitting there wearing what could best be described as a collection of leather and metal. You're not even sure how this thing stays on this thing's frame. It's just sort of wraps around and up and over and such. And there is a spare spot there. And they seem to be somewhat serious in their game. And matter of fact, the last hand just ended, and Transdoshan won the hand. And he sort of almost a hissing laugh says, another one. So he looks up at you and says, "Come on, sit down, human. More the merrier."
Yeah, Tindrick will sit down. He'll put up whatever he needs to for buy-in and whatnot.
Okay, it's 100 credits buy-in.
Okay.
And the way we're going to do this is you roll 5 6-sided dice and tell me if you get, and literally it's how many odds versus how many evens. Okay. And then once you do that, we'll roll the wild die, and depending on whether it's odd or even, it's going to flip. Okay. But the first one is how many odds versus how many evens.
Hold on, die down. I have 3 evens, the 2 odds.
All right, you've got a pretty good hand. The bet goes around. The Twi'lek throws in an additional 50 credits. The human looks at the 50 credits and says, "I'll see you those," and throws 100 more in. The Transdoshan meets the bet. Then it comes around to you. Be 150 to stay in. So at this point, your hand is the equivalent of basically having like 3 of a kind in a regular 5-card poker hand. So
Tindrick will just meet it then, so we'll put another 150 in.
All right. Then it gets back around to Twi'lek. The Twi'lek looks at it, looks at the Transdoshan, looks at the human, and says, "Yes, I'll meet it." He meets it, and the Transdoshan puts his paw onto the table, and you see a light begin to spin around the outside of the table. And as it comes around to your cards flip. The evens are now odds are now evens. So you only have basically like 2 pair or a pair, basically. Now you roll the wild die and tell you what you get.
So right now, all of my evens turn to odds, not my odds turn to evens.
Yes, so you have 2, so you basically flip them.
Okay.
I know this is a little complex, but this is the old version of the game.
I had an odd pop up on the wild die.
Okay, with that means the 2 that you popped up as odd are face cards, and they match. So you basically have a very high pair, which in Sabacc is pretty good. The idea is basically the face cards are the ones you want to keep, and then you want to discard the non-face cards. So as it comes around, they ask you, so what do you want to keep? And you keep your odds, which are your evens, or your 2 odds, and then you roll the other 3 dice that you have left, and see if
if mine swap, I have 3 odds, 2 evens.
Yes, you want to keep your evens. You want to keep your evens, and then roll the 3 odds.
Okay. Two odds and an even.
All right. So you're back up to a 3 of a kind, but they're face cards this time. It's a high bet. The human pushes, doesn't add anything to the bet. The Twi'lek looks at him, looks across the table at you in the Transdotion, and he puts in 200 credits. The Transdotion laughs, and he says, no, not that. I will not meet that bet. You will not steal my money. And he folds his hand. Comes around to you. And said, you have a high 3 of a kind, basically. Base card 3 of a kind, think of it as.
Right. When you raise, do you have to raise by at least the original
raises,
bet?
The original bet plus half at least. So like say if you bet 200, you want to go 300 minimum. So 200 and then raise half again.
Okay. So yeah, Tindrick will do that. He'll raise the 3.
Okay. All right. The human looks at that and says, I'll match that. And he puts his money in. The Twi'lek sort of looks at 2 of you and he tentatively puts the money in. He has a very good stack of money, by the way. He does not look like he's poor. He'll
the whole
put that
time,
in.
Tindrick's smirking away too. Like,
yeah. He'll put that money in there. And at that point, you basically reveal your cards. The Twi'lek reveals his cards. And he has a pair of face cards. And he sort of smiles. You reveal your 3 of a kind face cards. At that point, then your side basically lights up. The table shows that you're now the high card. The other human looks at you and sort of shakes his head and puts his cards down. And he had 2 pair. So your 3 of a kind barely beat his 2 pairs, so you win the pot at that point. So you win your first pot. Congratulations. So, Glalt, what are you doing as he pan around to you while Tindrick is winning money at the moment?
Glalt is meandering around, just kind of looking around, and he is using sense force at an almost constant rate. It's rather tiring to do so, but he's
okay. Make your roll. Give me that roll.
$11.
Okay. With that roll, you're feeling those flickers, especially among these gamblers. You're feeling it's not like the kind of level that you would feel from a Jedi, but it's people who have a higher level of luck than you would normally expect. It's one of the manifestations of the Force, basically. As you feel this flicker that's a little bit brighter and stronger across, almost all the way across the casino floor. It's a good 150 yards from you. It's almost like a star glimmering out in the distance with clouds passing in front of it.
He's going to go that way. He's
Okay.
going to trust his instincts on this one.
As you're walking through this place, you are noticing that in a lot of tables there are a lot of Imperials here, soldiers and such, gambling. No stormtroopers that you can see unless they're out of uniform or out of their armor. You're not sure what a stormtrooper is like out of its armor. But pretty much all of them have they all have at least a stun baton on them. None of them have blasters per se. But as you're walking through this place, you see there are some walking around with blasters. So, hold on.
He's going to
Send that
continue.
to the right person.
He's going to continue walking that way towards that person.
Okay. As you get to an area where it's like for a moment, there's nobody between you and this flickering. You see there's a little cafe off to the side. And you see, well, at first I think it's a boy. He's young, whoever he is. He's dressed in a pair of Spacer's trousers, an undyed linen shirt, and he has this orange vest on. It is just fucking hideous.
He's
Right.
gonna walk up to the kid.
The kid he's scanning he's looking around. You get the feeling that he's obviously watching, and it's like he's trying to put on the face of like a hardened person that you don't want to mess with, but it just looks almost comical on his face.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna walk up to this kid
Okay.
at this cafe.
As you're walking over toward him, you get about maybe 10 feet from him, and you suddenly see another big wall of fur interpose himself in front of you and basically roars at you.
Oh hell no! I'm gonna look at that and freaking.
You hear from behind you someone say, "Hey kid, control your damn Wookiee."
Oh hell no! I'm roaring right back.
Okay.
Out of pure. He ain't gonna threaten my manhood. And I'm gonna enhance this one. 1 second.
Okay. What are you enhancing it with?
Concentration.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna do intimidation?
Oh yeah.
Okay, then do that and do your intimidation.
All right, let me go down to intimidation. That would be under what again? Oh, I have intimidation.
Yeah,
I have 4 in
that's
it.
Yes. So, and if have you and make your control. You got your control roll, right? Okay. You had 4 dice to that. So
All right, let me roll all this.
yeah, it should be a like a first edition D&D wizard casting a fireball.
Okay, gotta add up. Give me a second. I gotta get a calculator.
Okay.
Ow.
Sorry, guys.
God damn. By the way, none of us know what a first edition wizard casting a fireball is. No.
Yeah.
Never heard
Equals
of it.
that.
How many
Meanwhile,
dice
no.
was that? Yes.
How many dice? Yes.
Yeah,
All of
that's
them.
kind of what's going on here, guys.
I kind of need to borrow
Let's-
Mike's dice too. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. A couple of
Then
years
we add
ago,
2 to this.
there was a truck that turned over on a highway in Atlanta,
Yep.
and it spilled thousands of D6s. A first edition D&D player said, "Yeah, that's almost enough for a fireball."
Yeah. Almost enough.
And control explodes as well, right?
Only if you had the wild die.
Good. 43.
Okay. You roar back at its face, and this Wookiee actually takes a half step back, and then you hear the kid. He from behind him. He has a very it's a young voice, and he says, "Waro, don't cause trouble. The person was just coming over to say hi." And the Wookiee looks over his shoulder with like huh? Looks back at you and gives you a look like, "I got my eye on you." And he steps back next to the kid. The kid looks up at you and says, "What can I do for you?"
I'm gonna look at the Wookiee and just rub my tusk at him. And then look back at the kid.
The Wookiee just tilts his head and just sort of gives you a it's obvious that you intimidated him, but he's not going to let it be obvious to anybody else that he's intimidated. So he just sort of crosses his arms,
I'm gonna
and the kid says, "What can I do for you?"
Look at the little chair and like kind of try to fit myself in this tiny chair across from him very uncomfortably.
The chair actually expands to your proper backside. It's a
nice chair.
It's called memory plastic.
I noticed you were sitting alone.
Yes.
It is a pleasure to meet you. I am Wookiee 214. I work here.
Wookiee? You're a Wookiee?
Incorrect. Sorry. I am a Whippet. I am Whippet 214. My apologies. My
Whippet, good.
speech has trouble.
Ah, okay. I've never met a whippet before.
I
Yes,
am here
just so you
to-
know, everyone in the place for a moment paused at that roar. Both Haish and Tendrick recognized that roar.
Hey,
Honestly,
Jones, get him.
Tindrick would have just
Get him.
like tilted his head.
Mhm.
It's
Uh,
just
Well,
Galal.
it shouldn't take. It apparently didn't go any further than that because the place went quiet for a moment, and then the noise started back up again. So
just enough to recognize. Oh wait, nope, we're good. Back to game.
I was wondering if your parents are not here. Are you needing a safety escort of any kind? Are you needing food? Are you needing milk? You seem small for your kind.
oh, you have milk?
Yes, we can get you milk.
Yes. Blue milk, please. I've been trying to find some. I haven't had that in a while.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna
Okay.
look
He
over
gets a
to
smile in his face and he beams.
I'm gonna look over to the waiter.
Mhm.
Give them
Okay.
a glare.
Okay, it's a droid.
I'm gonna look over at the droid.
It looks back at you. You see it scan your face, and you see a little light go green.
Find the kid his milk.
Yes, sir, Mr. Glow. And it turns and it goes back into the pantry area. So, kid says, he's looking past you out at the casino as he looks a bit concerned at this point. He says, so why did you single me out? Uh-oh.
Nose.
Nose?
Nose. Whippets can smell the difference in age on people.
Oh, I'm not that young. I'm not nearly as young as I look. Yeah,
But you
I have
smell
good genes.
different.
And the Wookiee sort of almost harumph giggles and pats him on the shoulder. He says, "Yeah, I'm actually, I'm actually 30 standard years old." It's obvious he's lying. Okay. You can do a sense life and get an idea of how old he is.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely doing Sense Life.
Okay.
For 9.
With that, you think he's probably late teens, maybe 20 at the oldest.
So what is a teenager doing on my planet?
I'm not a teenager. And he pulls an ID. He says, see, I'm 30.
I'm gonna look at that and go, understood.
It's
Why
a
are
pretty good
you-
ID, though.
Why are you here?
I'm here to. I'm here to drink and gamble.
And yet you wanted milk.
Well, I don't drink alcohol.
Kid, you're gonna have to do better than that.
Okay. The droid comes back with a glass of cold blue milk. He picks it up, takes a drink out of it. Oh, just a second. Looks you square in the face. Just a second. Okay. And he says to you, "It's okay for me to be here," and does this. You feel a tingle. Make me a control roll.
My best skill.
This is how you counter it.
White is wild die.
Okay.
1, 1, 6 on the wild die.
Roll that 6 again.
And I gotta roll another die for it because I only have 3. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the wild die.
Mhm.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17 plus 2 pips. 19.
So 19. You feel this compulsion wash over you and through you. Because obviously your will is a little more powerful than that.
I'm gonna look
But-
at him.
Now, Haish, Tendrick, if you have sense, roll it.
I was just gonna ask if I could.
Yes.
Oh, that a boy.
10.
Hang on.
Okay. You feel, Tendrick feels something from that direction where that roar came earlier, which you're pretty sure was Glalt.
17. Wait, hang on. That's a +1, 18.
Your eyes from where you're at, you see where Glalt is sitting over there. And it's like your eyes or your sense focuses in as this kid just goes foop and flares up in light.
Mother, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna sit up and I'm gonna go stalk this kid.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at this kid.
Mhm.
That's cute, and just slightly lift the glass just by flicking my nose, just like that, and just slightly
Okay,
lift
so
the
you're gonna use
glass.
telekinesis.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna make it obvious like the kid did, because kid's an idiot.
Okay. Okay, so in that case, you gotta roll
Alter.
your alter.
9.
You're
Just
able
hover the
to
glass.
you're able to lift. You basically lift the glass up because he took a sip of it and set it down off of the like off to one side of the coaster. You basically lift it up, move it over to the coaster, and set it down. He looks at that, looks at you, and his eyes get big. He says, "You're a Jedi?"
Shut the fuck up, kid.
Okay.
Keith, can I put in here for a moment?
Yep.
Can I be close enough geographically in this scene to be behind him when he says that?
Well, he is actually very smart. He's at the corner of a bar, so there's a wall behind him, and the bar's on his right side. You can't actually behind him. You break around the edge of the wall.
Can I do that?
Yes. You literally walk around the wall as he says, "You're a Jedi?"
And I smack him in the back of the head.
His eyes let it. The Wookiee looks at you and roars at you and goes for you. And roll me a perception.
Perception indeed. Because hell no, no one's touching him.
Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, once again, this is why I cannot have nice things.
$18.
Okay. Is your perception higher than Haitian's?
4.
Or die?
4
Yeah.
die.
Oh yeah, you're higher.
Okay, in that case, all right. So you either roll for who goes first, basically, and then you guys basically negotiate with yourselves who on your side goes first. But you just missed it by the initiative. As you raise your hand, or actually as you smack the kid in the back of the head, which obviously is not meant to cause damage, I'm assuming, right?
No, it's kind of he said a naughty word, kind of just
there. Well, the Wookiee apparently doesn't think that you're
disciplining him.
Nice.
I'm trying to attack him. Yeah.
Because literally you just camp out of nowhere and just smack him in the back of the head.
No, Haish is completely
so he
confident that Glalt's going to sort this Wookiee out for him.
So the Wookiee is going for a backhand at you, Haish.
Oh, that's fine.
You can do a dodge if you like.
Yeah. All right. Dodge. Where is my dodge mechanic? Is that dexterity? If I don't have dodge, is it
the next dexterity?
Okay.
Dodge is dexterity.
Okay. Oh yeah. That is a 19 on the die.
All right. So with a 32.
Oh yeah.
The Wookiee smacks you. Now his attack isn't so much I'm going to break your skull. It's more of I'm going to throw you across the yard.
Oh, is he? Okay.
I'm going to throw you across the yard type deal. So you're shoved backwards, and you go flying back about 3 meters. You can make another, basically either. This would just be either a dexterity, or if you have like any kind of acrobatics or tumbling or anything, I don't think you do. But basically, it's a dexterity roll.
Can I? Right. Thanks, Glow. Can I make a dexterity check to basically somersault and then land on my feet?
Yeah,
Would that be
yeah,
acrobatics?
that's there. That
Oh,
basically, yeah, it's dexterity. So,
that is a 15.
all right, you're able to keep to use the momentum to basically roll out of it and come on your feet back, looking back at them.
Oh, it looks real pretty when I
but-
do it too.
Yeah. With that, which of the two of you are going first, Glalt or Haish?
I'm gonna hand it off to Glout.
Okay.
Get him, my
so
dude.
Glalt,
So, question: Can a dark side point be used to enhance strength?
yes,
Oh my god.
yes, it can. You add 1d, but you are going to lose a pip from some stat or or you're going to lose a force point.
I'll take the pip. I don't have force points, but I'll freaking enhance myself because
Okay.
this dude
No.
just smacked my friend.
You cannot lower any of your stats below 1d.
Not a problem. I'll drop it from mechanical then.
All right.
That has 2. I don't mind sacrificing that.
All right. So you get a dark side point for doing this as well.
Don't care.
So actually, this is actually basically you're enhancing your strength using concentration effectively. So roll concentration, you'll add 5d to that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
15.
All right. Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So now make it. So make your brawl.
What you guys are going to hear is not Glalt just roaring for dominance, but a pissed off, rage-filled roar as he freaking lunges at this thing, claws extended,
Okay.
brawling. Let me go get.
It's going to attempt to it's
I
going to
need
attempt to
another
do a
D6.
brawl parry.
All right, let's do this.
Oh, okay.
And you said I add 5 dice to this?
You add 5 dice to your attack.
Shit. Okay. Let me add the dice. Sorry, guys.
And then if you succeed, you add you roll your damage, which is actually, do you want to add it to your attack or do you want to add it to your strength for damage?
I want to add it to my damage.
Okay,
Oh
so you
my
roll your
God.
attack normally, and then you roll your damage and add that dice to your damage.
All right. Fucking wild die, man.
Uh-huh.
I love you, you little bastard.
Oh my god. What did you do?
It exploded 4 times.
Attaboy.
42. I love this one.
You land
Good
the
boy.
blow. Are you using claws or are you using
Yes.
a pit? Okay, so strength +1 plus your dark side bonus, which is strength +1 +5. So strength +6 effectively.
And mixed in with that roar is don't you fucking touch him.
Okay. So it's don't touch him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
+1. Okay. Now to add in that the wild die did not explode this time, sadly. But it didn't exactly need to explode, so rolling the other 2 die.
Mhm.
35.
All right. You come down and just roar at this thing and slash him across the chest. You're not sure how much damage you did to him because that fur is pretty thick, but he spun backwards and goes to the ground. As he does, the kid gets up and yells, "Stop it!" Roll
Hey.
control for both of you.
I mean, for both of us?
Yes, roll
Okay.
control.
Oh shit.
20.
That is a 12 for me.
Okay. Both of you find yourselves frozen. As in, you're about to lunge and you're just frozen. Not only that, you notice around you in an area of probably 10 meters from this kid, everybody stops. And his eyes get big, and he sort of looks around and says, I didn't mean for this to, I didn't want that to happen. And he goes over and starts checking the Wookiee who's on the ground. And you're released slowly. You've never seen, now both of you have seen Jedi do things. You've never seen that.
So when Haish can finally move,
Okay. And
I'll
it's
hold
his turn at this point.
it is his turn. He'll hold up a hand to Glalt and just kind of like steady him with a look.
It's probably
At least attempt to.
Does he feel the same cold because of the darkness?
Oh, you feel that cold coming off of Glalt. Yeah. And Glalt, I need you to make your perception check.
$15.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to rest yourself from that rage. But Case, you think just for a moment you see a glimmer of red in those eyes. Then it goes away.
In Glalt's eyes?
Yeah. Just a glimmer of it.
Haish doesn't care. Glalt is my friend. He doesn't care.
Okay.
Haish at this point is perfectly well within his moral faculties that Glalt has the mental wherewithal to notice the difference between friend and foe.
Mhm.
We're brothers now. He can get angry all he wants, but he can be reminded, hey, right here, friends. And when that kid is mooning over his Wookiee, I'm going to look at him and I'll say, pick up that wreck and you come and find, and I'll give him an apartment. Glalt, come on.
Okay. You see, as you're doing that, you see the Wookiee sort of go to push himself up and shakes his head a little bit, and you hear he looks over and you see the kid basically the same kind of thing to him, and sort of petting his fur. He says, "Come on, buddy. Come on. It's okay. It's okay. They weren't trying to hurt us. It's okay." And okay. Anyway, back as this is happening, back over at Tendrick's table. So
we're walking by Tendrick's table. I'm just going to shoot him a look. When you're done with that game, come on.
Well, this is going to happen simultaneously with what the combat that just occurred.
Good.
We're going to backpedal a minute or two. So you hear the roar, the second roar. And the very Wookiee roar. The human stops and looks over his shoulder like, what the hell? And you see him, his hand, because of your positioning, reach toward his hip as if he's reaching for a blaster. And it's like, it comes up empty, and he's like, damn it. Hate these damn rules.
Now, a quick question about weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
Because we discussed this in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Tendrick wouldn't have left his wrench behind because he is a tinker and a mechanic.
Oh yeah, a wrench is a tool.
Okay.
Yeah, wrench is a tool. It's not a weapon. So.
Right. Okay. So I'm just saying, Tendrick has that on him.
Okay.
Or it's like up against the table. It's accessible easily.
Yeah. So do you react to the? So you hear the Wookiee sort of the warning roar. Then you hear Glalt right after that as I'm going to effing kill you roar.
Honestly, since he kind of knows how Glalt acts, he'd hear the roars and he kind of look over when the human does.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of see Glalt take care of it. But then he also knows Glalt was kind of hired to be security here.
Right.
Because he doesn't know anything about the kid, doesn't know anything about what happened. all he sees is Galot kind of doing his job.
Okay. Maybe a perception for Tendrick real quick as you're looking over at this stuff.
$24.
Okay. As you're looking over, you're noticing that a lot of these soldiers are looking that way. And the ones that are armed are sort of starting to make their way that way. You know, it's probably not a good thing causing a disturbance like that with so many Imperials around, especially if it's not a human making that kind of an issue. If it's a Wookiee and a Whipped, they might just get arrested just for being there. And you look back at the human shakes his head. He says, I told them not to make a scene.
I'm gonna try and escort Glalt out. I don't know, away, and we're gonna find an elevator and go to our apartments quick as can be.
As you're heading toward the elevator, okay, go ahead, Tendrick.
No, go ahead. Finish up with him real quick.
Actually, you're the one that this. Yeah, you'll notice this though as it's happening. So you're noticing these guys with the weapons sort of heading that way. So you'll have ability to react to it first. What are you going to do as you see them going that way?
Well, when the human mentions that about, I told him not to get in trouble. Tinder's going to look at him and then be like, all right, me and you need to have a conversation because that's my brother over there.
He's like, yeah, that's mine over there too.
Oh, for the love of...
What
is the other guy doing as the Imperials are going over there?
He's looking at them with some serious concern, and he looks down at the pot that you guys were just doing. He's like, ah. He gets up and says, "Keep it. I fold," and he starts walking that way pretty quickly.
Your Majesty, Imperial Majesty, we are out the door.
Actually, no, you're not. You are heading toward the door.
We are, in fact, out the door, Your Majesty.
Well, no, you're not. Because as you're heading toward the door,
oh, shit.
A man dressed in an Imperial military uniform with a blaster carbine steps in front of you and says, "Hold up." See some identification. He's looking at Glalt.
Oh.
Whipped 214, Glalt, security.
Identicard?
Pulls it out of his vest.
As you look around, you see that there's 4 others around you guys. And you can see it. There's also a similar number around the Wookiee as well.
Glalt pulls it out of his vest.
Okay.
He didn't exactly hand it over when he quit like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, he reaches out and looks at the ID, sort of looks at it. He looks over at Phil, he holds his hands. "Run this." He says, "We need to have a conversation about," and at this point he's looking at Haish. "We need to have a conversation about keeping your pets on a shorter leash."
I am not
and
a
pet. Glot, just hang it. I'm gonna hold his arm from him. He is not a pet.
As you lean forward, Glalt, and the voice starts going up, carbines go to shoulders.
Gentlemen, we apologize. The Wookiee threatened first. Glalt was indeed doing his job.
But this one, I'm fairly certain this one just threatened an Imperial officer.
There was
he sort of looks at you and he smiles. He's like, "No, I'm fairly certain that was a. I mean, I could be lost in translation." And he sort of does this with his hand as he does. I could be lost in translation, but
Glalt hands over his chit with the 10,000 still on it.
He looks at it
for gambling.
Sort of smiles, looks at the guy and says, "What does the identity card say?" And he puts it in his pocket. And he says, "It says that he's assigned security here." "Oh, you should have mentioned you were security. I apologize." And he hands it to Haish, the ID to Haish. He says, just keep your underling in a little more, a little quieter. A little discretion is the better part of this. You don't want to upset all the gamblers here.
I reflexively squeeze Galt's arm. Come on, buddy, just come on. Just, let's go find some Chagruda hookers. Come on. And I drag him into the hallway.
Hookers?
Okay. So Tendrick, you see this from the outside of the ring, this whole exchange. So
Tendrick would have actually started walking over when the other human did. He actually would have dropped.
Yeah.
Like basically the pot he won that first round, that 1,200.
Yeah.
He just would have said, gentlemen, I enjoyed it. Family matters.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
As you walk over to this group, to this collection around the Wookiee, which is a very similar scene, you see the old the kid says, but he didn't do anything. He was just protecting me. And the older guy said, guys, just let's calm down. Let's be reasonable about this. There's no reason to to be messing with the I mean, yeah, he's a Wookiee. They have a temper. You apologize, don't you? And the Wookiee's like, brr. And they're like, yeah, but it's a dangerous animal out here among people. I mean, it could go off at any time, rip someone's arm off. And the guy's like, well, that's that is a little overblown as far as it's like a rumor. I've never actually seen it happen. Besides, he's not gambling. And the Tendrick.
When Tendrick goes up, he can see the Wookiee's damage, correct?
Oh, the Wookiee didn't really hurt. He might have lost some hair from the front of his chest. He actually rolled high enough to actually not be hurt by it.
He can see the Wookiee is damaged, correct?
Yeah, he can see it. There's obviously where the Wookiee has had a scratch across his chest.
Tendrick will pull out the med pack he has, because he would have had a couple on him from raiding the station.
Mm-hmm.
And he will come out looking as professional as can be, med pack in one hand, wrench on his hip, and be like, the Wookiee is injured. He can't harm anyone else. Let me get him bandaged up, and we'll go get him the rest.
Okay. The fellow who's leading this squad looks at you as you come up, and he's like, I'm working here at you, almost as if he's, and then he turns around to you and says, are you one of the med techs for this place?
No, but I would like to be.
Oh, okay. Let me see some ID.
Tendrick will give it one.
Okay.
Not lying, he would like to be a med tech.
Okay. He takes a look at it and he says, Tendrick, huh? He looks you up and down. He says, what do you have to do with this thing?
With what, the Wookiee?
Well, this whole disturbance over here. I mean, why would you? I mean, he looks you up and down. It's like the idea. He's like almost as if he is stunned that someone would walk into the middle of an exchange between Imperial soldiers and a Wookiee and a couple of civilians and just walk up and insist on treating a Wookiee. It's like he's confused.
Do you know anything about medical, sir?
I know a bit. I know the basic first aid I was given at the academy.
Okay. Race doesn't matter. Species doesn't matter. If it's hurt, we try to help.
All the people with blasters laugh.
Okay, the way it should be is race shouldn't matter, species shouldn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Once we're done interrogating these two, maybe we'll call you in to patch them up. How about that, huh?
Can I have my ID? Can I have my ID back, please?
He sort of shoves it into your chest, and the human, the guy you were dealing with says, "Wait a minute, interrogation? Wait, hold on. No one discussing interrogation before." No, Tendrick, make me a perception check because now you're seeing this at this point.
Oh, does having magnified senses do anything for this?
Yes. Yes, if you want to magnify your senses, yes, it will.
Okay. Because I mentioned I was kind of having that going since the gambling table, because I know people like to cheat.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, magnify senses adds two dice to your roll for perception.
Ooh. $29.
All right. So yeah, as you look at these three, the gamblers that you're with, the kids specifically, you notice that they're wearing prosthetics, fake noses, something a little bit changed, a little bit possibly change the cheekbone just a little bit, hair color. It's something you see. I mean, it's a pretty good job, but your force enhancement sort of looked through it, and you're thinking that without those prosthetics, you might have seen these two before. So you even detect the faint whiff of a dye from the Wookiee.
Someone did a dye job on the Wookiee. That takes talent.
Do you say it out loud?
No,
Okay.
no, he doesn't.
You're just thinking it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, it seems at this point like Haish and Galt have worked their stuff out. You see them heading toward the elevator now.
I'm gonna try and steal a look from Tindra and
Yeah.
be like, "Need to go now."
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, the soldiers don't care about you, Tindrick. They've decided that you're not necessarily worth their time. But
I kind of whispered to Glalt, "Go up to the apartments. Go find Mom. Get her to pack her things. Get to the ship. We'll be there shortly." You're muted,
You're
Lynx.
muted.
Walt will do that, but he'll do it with a real attitude in his voice about it. Just,
Like you're still a little butthurt about the Wookiee.
no, like, and he'll mention as he's walking off, like, Haish can probably hear because, well, he's used to listening to Walt mutter. Should have killed the Wookiee.
He wouldn't have been worth your time, my man.
Okay.
But I'm kind of like, I'm gonna make a stealth check actually here. I am with an 18 there. I'm just kind of like around the corner, keeping an eye on my younger brother. Like, if this goes crazy, I'm chopping people up. He doesn't want to, but
So Glalt, being the former security person here, as you turn and head toward the elevator, you see security. Because security generally blends in unless there's a reason for them to be noticed. Your position usually was next to the door to the counting room because you're obviously security. And you'll have obvious security at the docking station, stuff like that. But on the actual floor, generally securities wears nice suits. They blend into the crowd. They gamble, blah, blah. You start seeing this hands going up to ear, like where they have earplugs, and you're starting to see concerned looks.
Magnify senses. Magnify senses. I want to hear what the fuck they're saying.
Okay. All right. Make the roll.
11.
Okay, you actually can hear. First off, you hear one say, "What? Why is he coming here?" And you hear it to the mic. Lord Vader's shuttle has just landed. He insisted on priority docking, and he is heading to the floor as we speak.
I'm gonna turn and I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna grab Haish. I'm gonna turn back, grab Haish. And I'm gonna go.
What's going on?
Haish,
What? Why?
Haish,
What?
grab your brother. I don't care what he's doing. Vader is walking to the floor now. Go grab your mom.
Okay.
And I'm gonna run in back to the floor
Okay.
after Tindrick.
Oh
You
shit!
going for Tindrick? Okay. So Tindrick, You're standing there.
Kendrick was in fact walking back. So
Okay, so you turn to walk back as you see Galt stop at the elevator, shove Hayes toward the elevator door, then turn and starts walking towards you. When you hear a hush come over the crowd, and you see across the Galt sees this from clear as day, all the way across the floor from the entrance to the main hangar, which you guys came through earlier. It's a little raised and it basically goes down a ramp. You see about 30 stormtroopers pour in. And behind them is this tall black figure.
As I'm moving, I just sent you a message, Keith. Sorry about that.
Yes, you may.
In lieu of that,
Mhm.
as I do that, does that feeling that I felt before wash over me?
Yeah, you feel like earlier you felt Galt's coldness. This thing
stuck
is
my
like
hand in a
Yeah.
chest of dry ice.
Well, actually, Galt was like you just put your hand into a sink of cold water. This is you just opened a sub-zero freezer and walked in naked. So,
I see this. I know Tindrick's on the floor. I know that kid's on the floor, and I know this is my fault. So,
is it?
in my mind, it is. In Galt's mind, it is. It's entirely his fault. Kid used force abilities because of him. So he's gonna walk onto the floor, walk to the side of Tindrick, keep walking, just ignore Tindrick, and just radiate as much as he can
Okay.
into
All
the
right.
force. Basically scream, I am here.
In that case, make an alter roll. Tindrick, what are you doing? I know what Haish is doing now. Haish basically disappears.
Can we, for the sake of the scene, imply that I have contacted Tindrick on his data pad saying that Mom and I are going to the ship?
Yes, we can assume that, yes. So he's heading to get her.
We're leaving. You need to come back now. Okay. Bring Galt if you can, please.
When all the stormtroopers file in and Vader shows up, are they blocking the rest of the exits and everything, or are they not stopping people from coming and going?
They're blocking the public exits. They are basically fanning out, and you're also seeing the armed soldiers that were already there. They're also blocking the exits. The ones that are around the kid back off and say and look at each other. You actually wouldn't say to your assigned positions, man. This isn't our business. And they spread out.
So, Tindrick at this point. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, then you hear the older guy that you were gambling with look up at him and said, I had a bad feeling about this. From the beginning, we never should have come here. The kid's like, maybe not. He looks like he basically like a trapped rat. The Wookiee actually looks a bit terrified too at this point. So, okay, and that exposition to you.
So, Tindrick at this point was still trying to go toward the elevator because that's where he thought they were all going. When Galt tries to go around him, he will actually put a hand on Galalt's chest. And while he knows Galt can overpower him, he still does the whole pushback, like, not our monkey, not our circus.
You don't want to, and he's going to mutter to Tindrick, you don't want to be around me right now.
We have to get out of here right now.
Just use sense and you'll see why you don't want to be around me. It's a little late for that. It's my fault the kid got into trouble. Go.
So as you guys are having your little exchange, you actually see, well, I guess you're both probably looking that way because it's almost impossible not to. You see Vader wave his hand, and you see gambling tables just fly across the room, clearing a path. People scream, people are injured. He seems completely unconcerned by that. He's just making a path that he doesn't have to go around stuff.
20 on her persuasion as I look up at Galal and says, no, we're not losing you. Let's go.
What do I roll against that one?
He just said, we're not losing you.
Fair point.
What is, think about your deep-seated emotions, where the
I
emotions
know.
come from.
I know. I'm stuck now between two emotions. I want to make my master proud, and abandoning this kid wouldn't make him proud, but I don't want to be alone again.
This is your brother.
Yeah.
Who does not have a lightsaber.
I can't leave him. I can't leave him alone. He needs to be protected. I'm gonna look at that kid, and a few tears are gonna fall because I know I just probably left this kid to his death, and it was my fault. I'm gonna basically cloak myself as much as possible and put myself between Vader and Tendrick and guide him back to the elevator.
Okay. You see Vader glance towards you for a moment, almost as in recognition. And then he just looks back at the kid as if like, oh, it's you. It's like he acknowledged the fact that you were there, but dismisses you as not a threat. Or something to deal with later. And as he looks at you, as he looks at them, he says, his deep voice booms across and says, well, we meet again. And the kid yells back, you killed him. And you feel this wave of rage wash over you, and the power behind this wave of rage, it's scary. It even causes Vader pause for a moment. He tilts his head as you guys are moving back. Are you guys going to the elevator, or how are you going to try to get out of here?
We're gonna act like any normal people would. Elevator up.
Okay. Yeah, you're seeing the majority of people having to go like one of the service elevators off to the side that's sort of hidden. And in all the commotion, no one actually notices you. As you go into the elevator, you see the kid reach into that vest, and you see the older guy grab his shoulder and says, "Not now, kid. We got to go." As the door closes, you make it up to the upper level where your docking ring is. Head out to the as well. You're also hearing over your own comms and such that apparently these kids had people in the crowd that had smuggled in guns somehow, and a firefight broke out, and there are explosions going off in maintenance shafts and stuff like that in the casino. Power drops from the main casino floor as you guys get to where the ship is. You actually notice this, Hayes, from where you're at with the engines warm. You feel a lurch.
I was gonna ask, do I feel a ripple through the ship as an explosion?
Yeah, you're feeling a lurch as
flick.
Like something happens to the actual station itself. Its attitude seems to have shifted just a little bit, possibly. As Galalt and Tendrick get to the ship, you do have your mom on the ship. Yana is on the ship. She's ready to get the hell out of here. You look over and you see of course you see Vader's Imperial shuttle a couple of bays down. And then you see a piece of shit that you're surprised is in space and it's not floating, trapped in a gravity well, angled down into a docking bay and land. And then a few moments later, you see some people go out into this and come out firing blasters back in down the hallway. And you think you see a flash of blue. Not blaster bolts, but maybe a lightsaber? It's hard to say.
Hayes stands up in the cockpit. I look out.
Okay.
I'm staring at that blue light.
Yeah. The angle's not good, but you're seeing like it's like the shadows cast on the wall of a blue corona, maybe from the light.
Oh,
Mhm.
Can I try and reach out to the kid? Whoever this swordsman is, with the telepathy that I'm experimenting with.
Okay. And
what-
yes, Tendrick, you can do that as well.
What do I roll for that?
Well, what are you trying to reach out to him with? That's the question.
Oh my god. What are you doing, Hayes? Oh my god. Hayes will actually utter to him, clean up your footwork and use
Okay.
a high guard.
All right. So you're trying to do
I
transmitted telepathy effectively.
Yeah, basically. And I'll punctuate it with stay low and go.
Okay. Do you
in run.
Yeah. Do you have that force power?
No, but you
Okay.
you had me try it before, and
Okay.
if
Go ahead and roll and tell me what you roll.
what is it? Is it sense or control?
That is going to be sense and alter.
Sense and alter. So okay.
Yes.
Sense for the first die roll. That is an 11.
Okay.
And then alter. By the way, guess what? Next force power I'm probably getting, Keith.
Projected telepathy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff you have to work through first.
Right. No.
Right.
This is basically
you're just
Hayes'
trying to
narrative. Like, I know it's
trying
a
to
thing. I'm
throw
going to
this.
try it.
Okay.
And my alter is a 14.
Okay. You're not sure if you get through or not. But
I don't know, but he's tried.
You attempt to send that image out. So
do I see that the angle of that blue shaft of light change though?
It changes quite a bit, but you're not sure exactly what he's. I mean, if he's using a style, it's sort of hard to interpret what he's using from the images of light on a wall.
That's all Hayes needs right
yeah.
now. Are my companions on the ship yet?
Yeah, Galt and Tendrick come running up to the ship's landing ramp.
I'm gonna lean over.
Okay.
And I'm gonna flick the switch on the gun to heat that up too.
Okay. Tendrick, make your roll on the one that you're asking for about.
That would just be me making a sense roll, right?
Yeah. And what are you trying to get from the life sense?
I was just basically trying to make sure the kid was still alive. And I know life sense, you can kind of pinpoint a specific person versus life detection is just overall.
Okay.
Just trying to make sure the kid was alive, especially for Galalt's mental well-being.
Okay. So what'd you roll?
I got a 16.
All right. You're able to determine that the kid is alive. He's in fairly decent physical shape. He's exerting himself currently. And of course, then the two of you can see the flashes of blue over next to this flying junk heap.
Okay. As soon as I'm in the ship and we're getting ready to go, I'm going to keep life sense on him until I'm either out of range or he's out of range.
All right. They're on the ship, Haish.
Galt's gonna pull that case from under his vest, hand it to Tendrick, and say, "We need to get yours built."
By the way, the kid's still alive.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I'm watching this.
Thank you very much.
You're watching this thing play out.
No, I'm watching this lightsaber form, and Hayes is kind of sorry to my companions. He's kind of tunnel visioned on this, like the swordsman in haste. He's like,
Okay.
I want to be down there with him.
Galt's
His-
gonna yell up to the pilot, "We gotta go, man."
He's kind of got to be snapped out of it. His hands are shaky, and if anyone can sense Haitia's like surface thoughts, it's I'm half unbuckled in my pilot chair, and my lightsaber is in my hand. I might charge back in there.
Galt's gonna look at Tindrick and say, "Why aren't we going?"
You think you might see touches of Makashi? Maybe Neiman? You're not sure exactly.
Come on, you had to get out of
It
there.
could have been Neiman though, because Neiman is like the.
Well, he's too young for that.
Yeah, he's way too young for that one. It's whatever he's doing. He's not very aggressive. You're pretty sure, but you're not sure exactly. It's maybe Shicho. I mean, if it is Shicho, he's fairly advanced at it. But anyway, then as then the light basically goes out, you're not sure if like he went behind something or the lightsaber went out or maybe he got shot or got killed, because there's a lot of blaster fire firing back and forth.
So I've seen red bullets go all over the damn.
Yeah.
No.
You do see that the hunk of junk is returning fire with apparently a belly mounted gun of some type. You're not sure exactly. It could be a heavy repeating blaster. Not 100% sure. Then the thing's engines flare and it lifts off in a very dangerous takeoff.
Do I feel that the kid has left?
Make me a life sense.
I'm going to. Absolutely.
Do I know the kid's left?
Mm-hmm. You know the kid's on that ship.
Okay.
If you want to call it a ship.
Hey, why aren't we moving?
Tindrick specifically is like, oh my God, they got in that?
You're braver than I thought. Ha ha ha.
Like Hayes was cringing about the sword play, Tindrick's cringing about the ship. Like,
this is our priorities. I just rolled for it. Hayes would feel that if their ship, he's going off of a strong guess here, if their ship is the shitty one and they left, they wouldn't have left without the kid, then we'll take off. And I'm gonna throw us probably into something probably equally dangerous. And I'm gonna try and chart us a jump out of here. Am I? Hang on here. Keith, you're muted. You've been muted this whole time.
Dear God, I hate that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you've been talking, I've been talking over you. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was saying, as you leave the landing pad, you see a dark figure come out from one of the hallways, surrounded by these stormtroopers. There's bodies everywhere out there. Stormtroopers and soldiers that have just been cut down. And this figure comes out, and you see what could be a cloak or a cape flapping from his shoulders as this ship takes off. You see him raise his hand for a moment, and you feel that cold sensation wash over you for just a moment, as if maybe he's trying to grab the ship. And the ship goes through a weird twist and inversion that's hard to follow with the eye, and it takes off.
Well, like he grabbed at it and he had a hold of us, but we broke free.
Not you, the piece of crap ship.
Shit.
So you are able to, take off and do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But almost immediately you see TIE fighters scrambling all around the area.
I'm going to get back into traffic. Well, no, wait, hang on.
Traffic is scattering right now.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say what traffic.
You also notice directly above the station is a Star Destroyer.
It's okay.
Run.
Working on that. Heish can. Okay, this is gonna be really weird. Can I use a force point to latch onto a memory?
Use the fuse of force if you'd like to latch onto memory.
Right. So that that premonition that I had of Mistress Jade, and she was in a marketplace on not a desert world, but a desolate, temperate world, a warm world. And can I possibly? I don't know. Actually, don't know really how to explain it. Can I chart something from memory without necessarily looking at the astrogate computer, and we just blind jump?
Oh, so instinctual astrogation?
Easy. Essentially, if that's a goddamn force power,
it is.
Keith, goddamn, I can't. I'm really reaching. I don't want.
Yeah. So,
Facebook.
It is not in the base book, no. But there is such a thing. It's an old skill that you may not have been taught anywhere.
Are you kidding me? Of course he would not have been taught. So I'm like, what? No, what I basically am thinking of is just he's gonna latch on to like that, psychically latch onto that image and go, this planet here is what it looks like in his head, which mechanically doesn't make any sense. That's what I'm saying.
You're going to put it in the hands of the Force, is what you're saying.
Yes, essentially.
All right. So you plug in an astrogation and jump into hyperspace.
Yeah, from
fucking
orbit.
Force take the wheel.
Yeah. Basically, what this is. What do you want from me?
Nothing. That's fine. You don't have to roll anything because you go to the Force to do.
No. Do I scratch off a force point on
oh no
my sheet?
Oh no.
Do I don't? Okay.
I actually gain a force point.
Oh really? What? Oh shit.
I'll tell you later why.
What? Okay.
So you find yourselves in hyperspace. You're able to notice that your tanks have been your fuel has been completely topped off. Your power cells have been completely topped off and all that before you left, and your consumables have been completely topped off, which is good because you realize that the system that you have plotted to
blindly
is not nearby.
Of course not.
You thought it was originally. But looking at your charts, you're going to a place called the Zelos system.
Zelos 2.
Zelos. Yes.
That's where Tyrion and his master are holding up.
Maybe it came to you subconsciously. You're not sure. But that is where your course is plotting. And it's going to take you 3 weeks to get there.
When I finally look at Leith, and I'm going to say to him, well, at least there'll be friendly faces when we get there.
Yes, sir. So what are you guys going to do for 3 weeks?
Damn it.
Build Tindrick a lightsaber, build myself a lightsaber, build Heish a lightsaber. Because I have the skills to do it.
I also have the skills to do it.
You can assist them in doing that, yes. You do need to have some technical skill as well to actually physically put it together.
Tindrick, I need help.
So, looking at this little booklet you seem to have here, building these things. That's the things. Hold on. Here we go. So we are going to, and I think you mentioned something about Glalt, about you having the ability to do some being able to do some you do that dice rolling for stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm actually working it out right now.
Mhm.
I'm writing down how you do everything, but I have
Alright.
it where you can roll the color, roll the
So-
length, and roll the type. Yes.
Well, first off, Tendrick, you're able. I need you to do me a lightsaber repair check to see if you can get these crystals out of these matrices that you have.
You're muted, Tindrick.
I don't think he's talking.
No, I wasn't talking. I was trying to get my dice good. Can I do a concentration for this as well?
Yes, you may actually. In fact, it is. It is
Probably need
actually.
it.
It is actually a suggestion. Yes.
So 9 in the control to actually do concentration. And I'm going to add 4 dice.
Okay.
$41.
All right. You're able to retrieve them. And roll me, because there's 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me a D6 twice.
Just a D6.
Yes. And tell you what you roll. Or roll, yeah, and tell you what, roll it on each D6. It's basically 1 for each crystal.
And a 2 and a 6.
2 and a 6. All right. One of them is going to produce, you can tell, a green blade. The other one, roll a D6 again.
$4.
That one's odd because it's going to create a purple blade.
I'm going to look at both Haish and Galat. Anyone want the purple one? 'Cause if not, I'll take it.
To my understanding, a purple lightsaber is supposed to be for someone who dabbles with both the light and the dark. And I'll
Oh.
kind of take a look over at Glalt.
I might have touched the dark side a few times. Yes. Yes.
It is my opinion that it is only fitting, but it is not my lightsaber. I will take the green one. Mistress
you-
Jade's lightsaber was green.
Are you comfortable with this, Tindrick? You are the one who pulled them out of the case, after all.
You're the 2 that use them more often right now. So
In that case, I will gladly accept the purple.
So as you're doing this, Yane is sort of watching, sort of sees this, and asks you what you're doing. And I'm assuming Tendrick will tell her what he's doing.
Yep.
So, and as he gives the crystals to the 2, she's like, "But wait, Tendrick, you don't have one."
We have more crystals.
Just a moment. Just a moment.
Actually, I'll pull out the one that I was given at the temple.
Ah, okay. Never rolled for that one. You
I
want to roll
think
for
you
that
said it
one?
was blue, but I can roll for it again.
And it was
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah, blue. Yeah,
I
it is
took the
blue.
green one.
Otherwise, I can roll again. We can see what fate has for it.
Yeah.
Fair point.
It's up to you. So you take blue or you can roll. Your choice.
Yeah, we'll roll. We'll see. What
Nah,
happens.
roll it.
What's going to happen is I'm going to get blue again anyway. So
Mm.
We all took one crystal, so we might as well see what they got.
Yeah.
5.
5. That one is a bright orange.
Oh.
Yes, Galt.
I'll pull out the crystal I had.
Roll that one if you want.
6,
Roll again.
1.
That one is dark. That one is the color of blood. That one is crimson.
I'm going to look at it and just kind of smile and hold on to it a bit.
Okay.
Never hurts to have a backup blade, and I'm going to say that as I hold it
Aish.
up to the light so these two can see it.
And Aish, you want to roll for yours?
If I roll, may I have the option of taking either one of the other colors?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, you already had one that was, I guess,
Green. Initially
green.
green.
And then this will be the other one.
6.
Roll again.
Oh, for fuck's sake. 6 again.
That one is yellow.
Oh my. All right. I will take the yellow one.
All right. So now, said you guys have 3 weeks to do some builds. I'm assuming that Tendrick is probably going to be doing most of the technical work, or the mechanical work of actually putting them together. You guys will have to assist him with the force for certain areas. Yes, dear. Just a second here. I'm getting so if you want to start doing your rolls there, Tendrick, and then Galton Hayes each time with him do a basically a lightsaber combat roll. That's what you want to do.
I actually picked up Elsie.
Okay.
I have lightsaber combat myself now. But the help is always welcome.
Well, on the one that you're going to make, Tendrick, you'll be doing that roll as well for that one. Okay. So this is basically you're actually reaching out to the Force to, in your mind, bind that lightsaber to yourself as you're doing it.
All right. How many times do you want me to do the craft/repair checks? Is it 4 of them, 1 for each of them?
They want to do 1 for each. So, and then the hills will sort of come to you based off what you've got in there. I'll actually let you guys sort of design those yourself, how you want to do it. And
I know there was a couple of like modification stuff. Do we just want to make standard ones and we'll worry about the modification parts later?
Well, what I was going to, based on what you roll, that's going to tell me how many modifications you can add to these things per roll. So,
Gotcha. All right. Who wants to go first?
Gloat, you're up.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Sorry.
Not a problem. I was going to say Tendrick deserves to go first. He doesn't have a blade yet.
Well, then never mind. Yeah, Tendrick's in the hot seat.
or he goes last.
Nah, Tendrick goes first.
Yeah, we'll go for it. Yeah,
Tendrick doesn't ever get to go first. It's Tendrick's turn.
38 for the first one.
Beautiful.
And then you said you want me to do a lightsaber combat check on top of that, right?
Yes.
For mine?
Yes.
Which is control and sense. It'll be a 12 on the combat check.
Okay. You're able to successfully bind it to you as you do it. You're able to add 6 modifications to that freaking roll, just so you know. And let's see here. One of those modifications, if you want to, can be with you determining what the actual length is, or you can randomly roll it. So,
let's see. Yeah, we'll actually just randomize that one.
Okay, so yeah, just roll a d6.
5.
All right, that's be 1.4 meters long. That's a long freaking blade. It's a 5-foot long blade, big claymore.
1.4 is 4.5.
Yeah, so claymore 4.5. So
It's a big boy.
it's a big boy. Yes.
All right. And then I have 6 modifications. I worry about the modification stuff
Yes.
later.
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
log everything down.
Yeah,
All right,
it can
who's
be.
going next? I'm sorry, what was that, Majesty?
You can do. I mean, as I said, modifications is just basically send me some ideas
Okay.
and what you think you might be able to have in it. So, okay. Yes, Walt, you have a hand up.
I was volunteering to go next.
Okay.
And I have the list of modifications, but the words are too long to send in one page, in one message. So I'm just going to send the document.
$36 for the second one.
All right. And I'll roll lightsaber combat, I guess, for that one.
Yes. Yes.
Alrighty. Let me pull up my person here.
For concentration.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to add concentration to it.
To your lightsaber combat.
Yeah.
That's one thing I didn't do, but
Well, you can't use
Fair
concentration.
point. It is concentration sense skill. So
Yeah, you can't use
Control sense.
concentration to up your lightsaber or your lightsaber combat horse skill, basically.
all right,
That's-
I'm rolling.
It'll be at
30.
this. Oh shit.
What, 30 you said?
Mhm.
Okay, you're able to bind it to you. And with that roll, once again, 6 modifications. And do you want to roll your length or do you want to use what's been with those
I would like-
modifications?
To roll
Okay,
that length.
all right.
6.
1.5 meters. So
A 5-foot blade?
5-foot long
It's-
blade.
it's a big boy.
It's a big boy.
Well, you are
Fitting for
tall,
my
so-
size, though.
Yeah. So, and then the one for H. What's your real crappy?
Yeah, watch me roll just garbage. What do I roll?
You want to roll your force ability of lightsaber combat.
Which is control and sense.
Yes, control and sense.
The 32 on that one.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
You're only getting 5 modifications, just so you know.
Oh, so that is control. Hang on. Stop that. Control 13.
Okay.
And sense. Sense 11.
Okay, you're able to bond it. So you only have to roll a 10 to bond it, just so you know. A difficult number, as they say. Okay, so you're able to bond it. It says it has 5 modifications. Do you want to spend one of those modifications to choose your length, or do you want to roll it?
He'll do what would be standard for his height.
Okay, so you're gonna spend a modification to do it
Yeah.
officially.
Yep.
So with that'd be what, 1.2 meters or 1 meter.
So someone who is 5'10" would be nose height on them. So about, hang on.
4.
A two-handed sword should come up to somebody's nose. Hang on here.
Okay. Well, remember your hilt can vary lengthwise too. So
Right.
That is
Well,
a
that-
modification, right?
yeah, that would be a modification to determine the length. Yes.
So standard would probably be 68 inches there.
Okay, so that's
70 inches to his
okay.
nose. Then yeah.
Okay, so then you'd have how much it would be of hilt would you need for that? About a foot?
Nope. 54 inches, something like that.
Okay,
It's a nice
so-
two-handed grip.
So 54 inches total for your length. That'll put it at about 1.4, 1.3, 1.4.
Yep.
I would say. Okay. All right. So you choose that one. So you'll have 4 additional modifications to make, which basically what I'm going to have you guys do is just think of things that would allow you either like some of the suggestions they have in here. Basically would be like modifying it, like in your case, because you are Galalt, because you already have them. You can actually modify them to have the sabers join together to have double lightsabers if you want to. There's one called Cell Recognizer, which is basically a pad that allows only you to activate your lightsaber. Basically, it's like a thumbprint, basically. Pressure grip, where if it's out of your hand, it goes off. A call beacon, which is basically a device that can be tapped into your ship to call your ship to you. Concealed compartments, which can hold some small piece of the deal. Waterproofing, translators, being able to make the weapon dial down damage to do stun damage instead of actually cutting through things. Having secondary functions like having a glow rod in there, having a blaster built into it from a different angle or whatever. You could have a trapped handle. It mentions silenced in here, but what silenced actually is just that it's quieter. It's not completely silent. But you can actually set up to where you have like mufflers and stuff like that on it, baffles on it, so the noise isn't so loud. Things like that. That's just some ideas, or anything you can think of that would fit within that kind of an idea.
Okay.
So, like a quick disassemble, where basically you could actually pull it apart quickly and make it appear as if it's just not a lightsaber. You can hide components in different areas, things like that.
That'd be slick.
So okay. So you got to spend the next 3 weeks in hyperspace doing this. During that time, I'm sure Haish is thinking about where his master is. Galalt is thinking about where his master is. Is Tendrick reaching out to anybody out there? Or is he thinking about anybody out there at the moment?
Honestly, since him and Haish have always kind of been a package deal, and Haish has always been kind of the more forceful of the two of them. He never really gave thought to it. I mean, they have Mom with him. He knows about this Mistress J they need to go find. So that's kind of there. But honestly, he's always been the more mundane. So his mind, honestly, at the moment is, after they made the lightsabers, was he's got this combat cord kind of burning a hole in his pocket right now. You're muted.
It's a cursed muted mic
Thank
night.
you. It is a cursed muted mic night. Yes.
Yes.
So you're going to spend the rest of the time after you guys build the lightsabers working on the combat droid, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I will get you a copy, or I will upload a copy to our group. I'll probably do it to the Discord of the droid book. So you can, if you want to build a combat droid.
Talking about the
I
think I actually have it pulled up here right now anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Trove has a search function now, which is great. The Cinnabar's Fantastic Technology one.
Yes, droids. Right. Yes, Cinnabar's Fantastic Technology droids.
I also found a D6 conversion for the Scavenger's Guide to Droids.
Oh, okay. I'd like to look at it before I say yes, but
okay, I'll send that one on the Discord after this.
Okay. So in that case, let's look at Tindrick real quick. Give me a sort of tell me what he's as he's doing this, putting this droid together, what he's thinking about, what we sort of see in his mind as he's building this droid.
Honestly, he just wants it as well. Now it kind of serves a dual purpose. He wanted as support for the group, as kind of back at the temple and stuff, they almost got blindsided. So almost having that sentry of sorts would be nice. But now, especially for the time being, as long as she's on the ship, it's now he needs to make a bodyguard for Mom. Because Leith is not a combat droid. Leith is a protocol droid. Only thing he can do is yell for help. The medical droid, as much as that little hypodermic needle he has would hurt, isn't going to do a whole lot when it comes down to it. So he's really just thinking of they're going out on their own. They're kind of striking out into all of this drama going on. They need more firepower. He was initially thinking of just having it be a range support, especially since Haysh and Galat love to be in their melee capabilities so much. So he's thinking of something more to just round out the party, so to speak. But yeah, just while he's actually working, this is kind of how he gets his Zen mind going. So he's thinking, but it's more he has the clarity behind it.
Okay.
He doesn't have to worry about the outside world, so to speak.
Well, with that one, since you're looking inward in all this, make me a control check, please.
$18.
Okay, as you're working, you find yourself doing things that, like, you're not even thinking about what you're assembling. It's like things are just going together without you even consciously putting it in there. Before you know it, you look down and you see that the way you have installed this this memory core, it doesn't look like what you expected it to be. But as you look at it, you realize that it's actually a little better. You may have actually made some improvements without even thinking about it. So add to your character sheet of power intuitive technology under your control. And so anytime you invoke this power, you add 2 dice to any technical skill that you have. Nice. So now that can be used with concentration and conjunction.
Okay.
Yeah. So because they are both control powers. So as we're watching this scene, we move over to Galt. What is Galt doing in the quiet times when Galt isn't muted?
You'll notice Glol. Did you approve his blade he chose?
Pretty much. Remember, you only built 1 lightsaber, not 2.
Okay.
So
he's going to be working on the second, using what little he knows of mechanics, as he doesn't want to bother Tindrick.
So what are we seeing in Galt's mind as this is going on?
What you're seeing is that he wants something very specific. He wants to be like Jedi Masters he's only heard about. But he's not thinking of the Jedi Masters you would assume. He's thinking along the lines of Count Dooku. He's thinking along the lines of the ones they met in the temple. They're not the best of guys. They may have had some problems with the dark side as he's working with his red crystal, fitting it into a hilt that, if it's his old hilt, but he's carefully attaching a cord that's attached to the other one, to the base. And you see him trying to work metal into it with the Force, because he's horrible with technology. Just absolutely horrible with it. So he's just letting the Force guide his thoughts at this point. And he's thinking of how they touched the dark side and came out in the end. How they kept going no matter the cost, how they protected what they needed to, no matter where it took them. And how he just wants this blade to see him through thick and thin, and how he doesn't care who sees it anymore. He's not going to hide it. He's not going to make it collapsible. He's going to be like the Jedi Masters and maybe some Sith Masters of old, who let it shine.
As you think of masters, make me a sense roll. Okay. As you're reaching out into sort of thinking about the balance of the different sides of the Force and such, and you are sort of reaching out to almost reaching out to the dark side, not quite specifically to dark side. You start feeling a response. There is something out there that responds to what you're thinking. You start hearing whispers. The whispers seem to guide your hand as you're trying to do this, trying to manipulate the lightsaber you have. And it's almost like you're adding energy here, adding energy there, twisting things inside the hilt here. But it's sort of playing with the with what's in there. Eventually, you actually are able to create a lightsaber of sorts. But this lightsaber that you've created, it doesn't feel like a lightsaber to you.
Oh.
It feels like a repository. Like well, not quite a holocron, maybe like a data crystal. But you feel that if you actually meditate on this lightsaber, this tool of destruction, as it were, something that can cut down your enemies, those who threaten you and yours, that you feel you might be able to gain a little more of an insight into the dark side. It's a gateway. Maybe when you get a little more experience, you might be able to, well, with the dark side itself, you might be able to ignite that blade. But it's sort of laying there dormant, whispering. But you can almost hold up to your ear and hear that susurrant whisper and calling out to you.
He's going to be spending a lot of time with that blade. 'Cause that's tempting. And I tried to roll a self-control roll. A control roll. He rolled 3
Yeah.
ones.
You start though to realize that through that, I want you to put down. Let me see if I can find this thing here real quick. I'll tell you what you're gaining a force power too. I'll tell you specifically what it is when that comes up and how it'll work. But anyway, so Haish, as all this is going on, Haish, I'm sure, is dwelling on things. So what do we see in Haish's mind?
Haish, for much of this journey, has confined himself to either the cockpit or his personal chambers. The captain's room, captain's cabin, is more or less where Haish does his gardening, now that his garden is actually Glalt's bedroom. And his meditation space amongst his plants. He will see him actually, because he was real slick about it when he was when we were leaving the Jedi Temple ruins in Alderaan, as he was able to take out like a 2-3 foot section of railing from a stairway that actually felt comfortably nostalgic in his hand. It was kind of inlaid. It was kind of a burnished dark metal inlaid with some gold filigree there, and more artistic for Alderaan as opposed to functional and pragmatic for a Jedi temple. So it stuck out to him, and he'll work with that. That'll be the base of his lightsaber hilt. But he'll take most of his meals in there and sleep in the cockpit, as he doesn't really want to do. But in the quiet times, he will think and reminisce about those lessons that he remembers so fondly with Mistress Jade, his footwork, his swordsmanship. He finally does come to the conclusion that I am more a warrior than a Jedi in any way. I suppose I should just accept it. Just accept it. Fine. I'm not a Jedi, I'm a mystic. I'm a warrior mystic. And he'll try periodically over these 3 weeks to reach out to what semblance of Mistress Jade that he has from his memories. Try to find that sensation yet again that he had from that premonition of her. And he'll also meditate with that holocron, kind of with his mind fingering the lock mechanisms with the Force, not necessarily physically opening it, but with his mind. We can think many digited fingers over all of these nooks and crannies, like, oh, searching where are your slides and your buttons and your tumblers. He's very much enjoying, however, being a little frustrated when it defeats him more than he likes, but he'll find a latch. He'll throw the latch. Oh, wait. That just opens more doors and locked 4 more. Ah, damn you. And he's enjoying the cat and mouse game, but he also meditates upon the image of that red-headed woman, Sunrider.
Okay. Well, first off, as you're doing all of this and reaching out for your master and such, you are going to gain a force power, by the way. Instinctive astrogation, the sense version.
Interesting.
The sense version.
Oh.
So that will be a skill that you will have. I'll give you the specifics on that.
Excellent.
But also go ahead and roll me that sense roll
Sense.
since you're reaching out for your master.
Oh yeah. Oh, thank you. This is what we like to see. Hang on here. That is a 26. I had 3 explosions in there. That was
Nice.
beautiful.
Beautiful. You find yourself on one particular day, deep in meditation, reaching out to your master, thinking on her. And you just sort of fall into this meditation into yourself. And through going in, yes?
Can I use concentration on this quick?
No.
Okay. All right.
This is a force power.
Okay.
You can only use concentration on either physical abilities or actual skills or other control.
Okay. Thank you.
Skills.
I wanted to put it in just in case. Okay.
Gotcha.
Please continue.
And as you fall inward, you feel yourself stretching outward. And before you get a flash of your master walking through a market, now you see her sitting in a room. At first, you just think a room. Then you realize she's at a table, and you start hearing noises around her. The noises of either a tavern or a restaurant or a pub. It's sort of hard to say exactly. And she's at a table with people. There's at least 3 other figures at the table with her. Unfortunately, it's like you can't see them. Every time you focus your senses on them, it's like they're looking the other way. Although you can tell one is a human, one is a Twi'lek, and one is a Whippet. It's a very odd collection of people that you're seeing. But you are able to look past her out a window. And you see a bit of a market. But beyond, you see a mountain. And this mountain is covered with lush greenery. I mean, more lush than anything you've ever seen. And your senses extend beyond the room, and you hear the bustle of the town, and then the life beyond. This is a very verdant world. This is no desert that you're going to. Potentially.
Heish mutters in his subconscious, the plant people of Zelos too.
You do realize that at that moment, this is how the instinctive navigation sort of clicks into place, that you're following a thread along a great web of life throughout the galaxy between yourself straight to Zelos 2, straight to your master. And with that, our curtains close on our trio for this episode. And we bid you farewell and come back in 2 weeks to see what happens on the verdant planet of Zelos 2. Will they be able to locate their masters there? Or will they run into unforeseen difficulties? Thank you for joining us, folks, and have a good night.